Creating a vacuum inside your housing after you've assembled everything and you're ready to get in the water is a great way to make sure that you didn't forget an O-ring, and it gives you the opportunity to check the integrity of the system. So let me show you how to take a half 20 plug out of a housing and replace it with a vacuum valve. On the outside, we'll remove the plug using an 11/16 wrench, and it simply threads into the housing. So we'll just carefully loosen the plug from the housing. And we're going to keep this with our spare parts. In order to provide access to the inside of the housing, we'll remove the back, lift up on the locking lid snap lever from both sides, release the lock and lift up, and then simultaneously up and over the hooks, and that lets us remove the back, which we can set to the side and provide us with access to the inside of the housing. All right, with the back removed, now we can turn our attention to the valve itself. Just to give this a look, what we have is a cap that goes into the valve, and you'll notice that's tethered to this hexagonal piece, and that's going to keep that on the housing so that when you take the plug out of the valve, it stays with the system, because you don't want to dive with this under a vacuum and this not to be plugged. So what we're going to do is we're going to take note of that hexagonal piece. You'll notice there's a screw on one face of that. That screw head is actually going to face the push button of the valve, which is going to face away from the housing itself. And I like to generally put that and orient that hexagonal piece so that the screw head is one flat away from the push button, like so. I'm going to remove the nut, and I'm going to visually inspect the gasket, make sure that it's clean, and then I'm going to place the valve onto the housing in a way that gives me easy access to the push button, so that once I tighten it down, that allows me to remove the cap and remove the barbed insert during operation. I'm going to start the thread of the nut on the inside of the valve. Give it a quick visual inspection. Take your time before you start tightening it down with a wrench. And then using a 9/16 wrench, we can start to tighten down the nut on the inside of the case. While you're doing this, make sure you hold on to the vacuum valve itself. And then I like to visually inspect that gasket. You'll notice that you'll start to feel the compression occur as you start to tighten the nut down on the inside. Now there's no need to over tighten this, but we do want to make sure it's relatively snug and that we don't lose the orientation of our push button. There's no need to take another wrench on this side and here and really crank it down. The seal is a compression seal that once you get it snugged down, keep in mind that a vacuum will reinforce that seal. Once we have it nice and snug, what we can do is replace our back, and we've easily installed a vacuum valve onto our housing. If you have any questions about this installation whatsoever, please drop us a comment down below, or feel free to shoot us an email to ikelite@ikelite.com.